Welcome, and today I'm going to introduce you to a little channel called Captain Kirk. The Captain digs up amazing photographs from the old world, seldom seen by anybody. And today we'll have a little peek at what he has to share. I encourage you to go check out his channel, and he titles this video A Portrait of a Tartarian Russia. And often I've looked at these photos, as we all have, and what we see is either absolutely abandoned cities, lacking the large population required to justify these glorious cities in these very early time periods. Most often, the oldest photos we see are in the 1850s, definitely lacking people in this time period. And by the late 1800s, we begin to see people arriving. But what we see is an unseasoned people. We've often joked about the lacking of beach towels at the beach, burning of wood, and what now seems to have been some sort of technology misunderstood. And even when looking at construction photos, completely not seeming professional, we have had thousands of professionals in the construction business, in all trades, verifying that what we're seeing in these photos are not actual construction. Many times, very few people on these construction sites, and the ones we do see are wearing suits, often displaying the secret hand in the pocket. Now, I did start watching this video a little, and I've completely backtracked and decided to share it with you all. Absolutely an epic showcase of the old world. This seems like a World's Fair type of image, but of course World's Fairs were repurposed, so that really doesn't mean anything. Glorious boats, and a Romanesque type building right next to a castle-like structure, and just spires and towers all throughout the horizon. Very advanced. And here a man giving praise to the Lord in what appears to be the city of Odessa. So now we know where we are. And here a man with some interesting boots, and actually what appears to be a staged background. Not sure. And here's some indoctrination. And this is very interesting. Seeming to be wooden structures. Some brick perhaps, like back here, with smoke coming out of it. But very interesting. Again, this is my first time looking at the series. Better to kill two birds with one stone. And the only downfall is I won't have time to examine these as much as I'd like to. But nevertheless, there is plenty to see. Oftentimes we don't see snow pictures, and this is an excellent picture. Just showing the poverty and primitive means of hauling what looks like ice blocks, not sure, and just amazing skyline once again, just way beyond a people just starting out. And especially in Russia, these, even according to the narrative, are much older, but maybe not. And here's some portraits. Looks like a kerosene lamp. And here, a man posing, looking very serious. And here a completely staged picture, seeming like a bunch of silly inheritors. I think we recognize this cat. And here we can see this man's teapot. Could this same tech have been used to charge his tea? with a bonus frequency. Unknown, but somebody who would design buildings with ornamentation on the top that looks just like this may also design a teapot in the same fashion. But once again, inheritors are inheritors, and they would use everything at their disposal. And these definitely do seem staged. Very interesting to see staged pictures in such an early time period. Clearly a nice backdrop. Even today I would have a difficult time putting together a little set like this on a budget. So yes, I believe I was initially fooled, as was the intention of these photographers and what seem like models for a false narrative. But nevertheless, we are glad they took these pictures. And here, just really seeming like an afterthought, let's just bring all the rugs out, lay them in the street, in the mud. Anything for a buck in this early time period. Anything goes. And very fascinating. Back here we see what looks like a little Epcot Center type ball, perhaps on top of a dome. And no different here in Russia. Just slapping some cheap signs up. One here, case closed. Building inherited. Title assigned. And once it's yours, it's yours. The cycle begins. I often wondered about this very scenario, even before I got into this subject. Who were the first to come to North America, for example? And I used to think in terms of land, making a claim to a piece of land, and then you can sell it, and then it's sold and sold again, and pretty soon the cost is ridiculous. After everybody turns a little profit over time, creating an inflated cost for basic living, completely a recipe for disaster. And again, posing in front of a backdrop, and not sure what we see as being written down here. Very interesting shoes, and here a child in interesting garb, and a very packed scene here. At the same time, not seeming very free. Looks like there's guards all around here, keeping these people in check. And look at this absolute glory in the background here. What is going on? This is beyond the needs of that time period, and absolutely beyond the needs of this time period. Putting the Disney Palace to shame. And just mind-blowing, this old world. Look like paved streets, and clearly these are inheritors with their primitive means of everything. What an exciting time it must have been. I wonder what was going through these people's minds. A whole world free for the taking. It must have been a fascinating experience. Did they know? At least the first wave? Unclear. It would be great to find some old diaries or something of that nature. And here is an absolutely perfect example of beautiful, aged, and unneeded architecture and primitive and confused people, happy to have roofs over their heads and clothing, but besides that, just seeming to lack purpose and drive. Absolutely amazing picture. Even these horses seem underfed, and yet everything else is magnificent. These people would never even have the thought of building something like this, not while standing in the mud. And if we look up here, this is just mind-blowing. I mean, imagine the size of these whatevers. Not even sure what these are in this time period. Clearly tech, nothing else but tech, and they must tower at least 50 feet. Way up here on the mountaintop being this tall. And look at this wall. Look at this absolutely amazing giant wall, again on a mountain. What reason? Could we ask any of these people? What reason for the massive wall and tech up here? Looks like an entrance, as we can see. And who knows what exists inside this mountain? And what kind of structure could have been on top of this mountain if this was only the wall around it? And moving on. Again, very simple-minded people. A pretty serious meeting. And this is a pretty creepy image. It appears as if their eyes have been enhanced. Very, very weird. Not sure. And if they have not been enhanced, then it's even weirder. And a beautiful bridge in the winter. Very strange. These men appear to be chained to these bears. Doesn't initially seem like the best idea, but I'm sure they knew what they were doing. And here's some very ornate metalwork behind them. Not sure what's going on here. And a very sophisticated expedition along the river. Looks like they brought their chained bears with them. And once again, just not seeming like the type of people that are going to build those types of buildings. But seeming as if they're doing pretty well as far as living off the land, clearly coexisting with bear. Very simple and natural people. And here I'm not sure if we're still in Russia. Probably. And what an amazing photograph. This is about as good as some of the oldest photos we see. And the infrastructure seen is absolutely astounding. Again, for a primitive people, these are the first buildings. These are the old buildings in the old world. Bridges and castles, walls. How massive could this wall be? And again, completely unnecessary for those people and their chained bears. But what do I know? And here again, a look at that amazing wall, and just completely mind-blowing. No good explanation could be given for buildings of this nature in this time period. No explanation. Nothing could possibly satisfy me. Here, looking like some massive bell. Massive, almost seeming too big to even be anywhere in any of these buildings. Very fascinating picture, and pretty much lacking people from what I can see. I might be wrong. Pretty overgrown, but not too overgrown. These trees appear to have been pruned at least 10 years before this picture. And perhaps that's all the gap they needed in between resets. 10 years, people come out from their underground cities, and one of the first things they begin doing is snapping photographs. Perhaps the first people to come to the surface are almost like scouts, taking photographs of all the cities lacking people and bringing their reports back under for the controllers to analyze and decide whether or not the coast is clear. And here's some inheritors and the type of building that they're capable of building. Silly log cabin, and I do love a log cabin. And no chairs. Personally, I always thought a picnic was pretty stupid, kind of charming in a way. But looking at a picture like this, we can see why it seems so ridiculous. You're going to dress like this and sit on the ground. The point is they don't have chairs, and they don't have tables. Not for events. Sure, they have buildings and clothing, and in this case some umbrellas, but lacking a lot of basic things that people with buildings like this should have, such as beach towels. And perhaps even this wine is from the old world. And here I was just looking through my spam folder. Looks like I have 2,000 plus comments in my spam folder, and another 424 held for review. Always disheartening. And once I approve it, it's off in the mix, and it's very difficult for me to find it. And again, there's 2,000, but this one really caught my eye. Submitted by submitter. Would you make a video about the war in Syria and Iraq, where many historical buildings have been destroyed? And if you have time, take a look at this website. I'm from Belgium, and it says this building is from the year 1300. If so, then many buildings would also be from that time, and not from 1800s. These types of buildings, cathedrals, can be found all over the world, claiming that they're from the 1800s. I would like your opinion about it. World War I changed a lot of history, like any war does. And yes, excellent point. And it doesn't make any sense. From the very beginning, we have this same architectural style, as far back as our narrative goes. And that would be before the year 0. This style begins, and yet, in all corners of our realm, this same style doesn't matter if it is in the Mediterranean, South America, Russia, United States, and Africa. Clear evidence, in my opinion, that there was a unified people building in the same mysterious way all throughout our realm. So yes, it makes absolutely no sense, in short. They just needing to squeeze all these buildings into some sort of realistic timeline, but really, once you realize it's false, then it completely falls apart. And we do see evidence of older ones, and even clear up to the last reset, there must have been construction going on, because we also see evidence of construction sites, half-built buildings. And this is just a beautiful picture. He sent us a link to this website. And again, I thank you, submitter, for your comment. We'll set it free. And thank you again for this website. We'll bookmark this and check it out a little more later. And this fine picture was brought to us by the Lone Eagle channel. And I'm not one that believes in coincidence. And how interesting. What state this piece of chicken should have ended up as. Very fascinating. And I do thank you for joining me today. Do have a blessed day. And please like, comment, and subscribe.